Ain't nothing peculiar about the way that I was raised, and my heart is on the way.
Hi everybody. That feels better. Alright, I'm working with a new mount, so let me know if y'all like this view better. I know it's probably better than the one I had up there where it popped off all the time randomly. But I am headed to work, and as usual, usually running late, but I go in at 5 today, so it's not too bad. Well, today it is because I woke up late. But alright, there was a couple things I wanted to talk about. I have noticed different content creators or even people that's speaking out and trying to get the truth out there are being threatened, and not just, I mean, threatened in different ways. Threatened by, or, you know, being threatened with the lawyers, or, you know, if you don't stop talking, you know, we're going to do this or that, the other, you know, sue you. I mean, I don't know what you're going to sue me for, but some bills. But like Dr. Phil says, people that have nothing to hide, hide nothing at all. And they are showing us that they have so much to hide. Otherwise, you wouldn't need to go around and stalk and bully and threaten and all these other things. I mean, if y'all were smart, y'all would sit down and shut up, and maybe it would blow over. But you can threaten me all day long, I'm not gonna shut up. So I'm gonna keep digging, I'm gonna keep finding, and keep talking. So there's that. If you have an issue with it, go see Dr. Phil. Maybe Dr. Phil can help you. I don't know. But
Mica's family, Pastor Miller, and the church have set their differences aside to allow Mica's memory to live on without the encumbrance of contentious litigation. All parties now consider this matter closed. Those that have sought justice for Mica should feel accomplished in helping the Francis family in reaching this milestone. South Carolina criminal investigators have concluded their work of following up on the investigation done by Robeson County Sheriff's Office in this case, with nothing new to report. Unfortunately, we don't know every piece of information that led to the death of Mica. We do know that her life did serve a purpose. Her life mattered. Those that have spent every Sunday morning protesting outside of Solid Rock Church, chanting "Justice for Mica," should recognize this time of healing and move on with their lives. We only ask that you remember Mica as the wonderful, beautiful person that she was. And now Regina may have something to say.
It is true that we reached a global settlement on all issues that could have been brought to court. Some additional things that are, some things that are pending now, as well as things that could have been filed. Those have been resolved as well. As far as justice for Mica, that we are ready to go to the next chapter. And the next chapter is to go and convince our General Assembly to take a look at the coercive control law bill. We need that on the agenda ASAP. We need it taken seriously. We need it to be made into law in the very next session of the General Assembly. Standing by and doing nothing is unacceptable. It is absolutely embarrassing. I urge everyone, if you want the final piece of justice for Mica, which means justice for all who have been domestically abused, please put your efforts into getting in touch with your legislators. Get in touch with the people who have the power to do something here. And do it now. These other things that you're doing, that time has passed. It is time to move to the next chapter. We want to focus on the memory and the beauty of Mica and everything that she has represented for herself and every single person that has ever been in her situation. And we, her family, when I say we, I'm talking about the Francis family. They need your help. They need your help on this. We don't want to talk about Mr. Miller anymore. We want to move forward to the next chapter, and that is getting this law passed. So I urge you, please, contact my office if you want to volunteer. We are putting together benefits to raise money for this cause. We are also looking at a potential rally on the Capitol if the General Assembly doesn't get it together. Now, I know that some of you are going to be somewhat disappointed to hear that we reached an agreement. Let me tell you about that agreement. First of all, the terms are supposed to be confidential, but nobody can keep a secret anymore. Setting that aside, please don't be disappointed by it. Whenever you're involved in litigation of this magnitude, and this many things to cover and all the complexities of it, could take years to go through a court system. We do not want the Francis family or anyone to be drugged through litigation for years. We want to put this behind us and move on to the next chapter that matters. And when we say that we've gotten justice for Mica as a result of this settlement, it is true.
So again, we've not just closed the probate court matter today, but we've resolved every matter between the Francises, Mr. Miller, and the church. So
regardless, even if we had went ahead and filed actions, we would have been under court rules to engage in mediation to get it resolved. You know, we can't get Mica back, okay? There's no undoing that. The only way that the law can provide anything to anyone that's ever, damaged in any kind of way is for compensation and other things that we all agreed to, certain other terms other than that. So it was going to be a matter of time. We would be required to do that anyway. We call this pre-litigation, mediation. We didn't have a formal mediation, but Russell and I had engaged in an intensive talking back and forth right up to the last second of coming to this court.
Attorney Long, you referenced the state reviewing some of the Robeson County investigations. I also noticed that your statement conspicuously did not mention any potential federal investigation into Pastor Miller. Can you comment on the status of that federal investigation? Can you tell us which state agency reviewed the Robeson County investigation?
I don't believe I indicated state or federal. I said South Carolina investigators. You can
tell us who you were referring to when you were...
I'm referring to whoever has investigated this case, federal and state. Yes, sir.
So from your perspective, all criminal inquiries into John Paul Miller are concluded?
We believe so. We have every reason to believe so.
Okay, let me see if I understand. You're asking about us withdrawing the request in terms of probate and continuing to serve as a special administrator? Okay, special administrator has limited duties, okay? And our petition was to have her be appointed as the personal representative, which has an overall duty of the estate from the beginning to the end. In terms of a special administrator, the limitation is to collect, as the order stated, is to collect property that may belong to the estate, preserve that property, because at that point there was no personal representative that had been named. And so an estate cannot be without some form of administrator to oversee and protect the property and preserve the estate. So what the court will do is kind of like a Band-Aid measure, a quick measure, is to appoint what's referred to as a special administrator. They also have duties like when there's a conflict of interest, because if a personal representative is somehow involved in something else related to the decedent, then that may create a conflict. It doesn't prevent them necessarily from serving as a personal representative, but as a special administrator, her duties are somewhat limited. We have reached all of those, and as far as once we reach this settlement agreement, then there's no need for her to continue to anything else in Mica's case. The court has required us to do a Form 2, which we will do. And then once she completes that, the order that was issued by the probate judge was very, very clear in what her duties would involve. And so now that we've got this global settlement, she can step back from that. There are always some other administrative duties that need to be, finished up with regard to the estate, some required forms through the probate court. And assuming that Mr. Miller is appointed her personal representative, which had not any reason to believe he wouldn't be, then he would be tasked with the duties to complete and close out that estate with regard to whatever forms and documents are required to do that.
And do you guys, is there any on your side plan to file a wrongful death suit?
Absolutely not. No, this global settlement settles John Paul Miller and the church and the entire Francis family in their entirety. There will be no actions filed by either one. And I'd like, again, I want to bring up what Ms. Ward has brought up in two ways about the people who've decided to carry on the Justice for Mica / shut down Solid Rock Church protests that are going on every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock in front of Solid Rock Church. The Francis family just asked them, through their attorney, to focus their energy somewhere else. She asked them to help focus their energy towards the passing of this Coercive Control Act. And she asked them to focus that energy on the legislators that are around the state. She's asking them to do that. That means that the Francis family, Mica's family, the people who love and care for her the most, have asked the protesters to leave the church alone. I would ask that they leave the churchgoers alone. These poor people are just trying to go to church on Sunday, and they're being harassed, and they're being put in fear, and they're being made not to feel comfortable trying to go to church. The point is, this is over. This is today, this agreement, this global agreement that's been signed by everybody involved is Mica's justice. The next step, which Ms. Ward pointed out, is their legislative goal to help reach out and talk the state legislature into passing this Coercive Control Act. That's what's left for these protesters to do if they feel like they still have energy to put towards this, not harassing church members. So we would ask that this be the end of that.
So I think that a percentage of the fines and the costs and things associated with that type of charge should be allocated to a domestic violence fund. I think the funds should be collected and paid to use as salaries to hire at least one attorney in every county of the state of South Carolina to offer free legal representation to victims of domestic violence.
Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know your thoughts. And if today's your birthday, happy birthday!